Hey there, guys. What do you do when you lose motivation to train? Um, for me, I've been in the sport for a while, and it happens. It's just one of those things. As I said, been in the sport for a while, so I'm a little bit more disciplined, and it's become a big habit. But for most people, and even myself included, losing motivation comes down to a few simple things. One, lack of energy. So if you're having a poor night's sleep, or if your nutrition's really off, you're just going to lack energy. No energy, you're not really going to have motivation. Um, that's probably the biggest one, being sleep and nutrition. The other one is going to be just general body fatigue related to training. So yes, it's still recovery, but for me in the competition prep, the weights are just getting heavier. So I just generally feel tired and just not as motivated, and that's very normal as well for yeah, everyday sort of person. Um, have a look at just changing up your program. If you're not motivated to train, have a think about the things that you do enjoy doing that are training related. It could be as simple as just going to the gym and just doing a few sets of arms, doing some pull-ups, and if you're into it, jumping on the treadmill and just going for a run for 5-10 minutes. Bring it back to the things that you enjoy doing, especially if you're not in the competitive scene of lifting. If you're having those days where you're just not motivated at all, just think of one or two exercises that you do enjoy doing, whether, as I said, whether it's arms, light shoulders. No one has ever really turned around to me and said, they love training legs when they're like fatigued and down on energy. But if that's you, then yeah, go for it. Just, pick the exercises that you enjoy doing, because at the end of the day, you're doing something, and that's always going to be a lot better than nothing. And taking a step back from that, as I said, have a look at your sleep, have a look at your nutrition, and then also have a look at what's going on in your life in terms of work. If you have a lot of stress and everything, if your cortisol levels are always really high due to work, and you're under a lot of stress, that's going to just sap your mood in general, and you're not motivated because you've already been spent out on doing tasks that you're really not happy with. um, and at the end of the day, if you're someone that does enjoy health and fitness and training, and you find that you're not motivated to do it, chances are the problem does not lie in the gym itself. It's going to lie with everything outside of the gym. And for me, I know it really does come down to just sleep and nutrition, especially in the real heavy phases of my competition prep. So this week for me has been a deload, and when I have a deload, I heavily cut back on all the exercises anyway. But then losing the structure really does sap my motivation even higher. But thank goodness it is a deload week. But keeping structure is another big one for a lot of individuals. If the only time you have to train is before work, then a short session is better than none. If you have the ability to have a garage gym, then go for it. And again, bring it back to the things that you enjoy and focus on that, especially on the days where you just can't be bothered. Because at least, when you go to sleep that night, you're going to have a look back and go, you know what? I did something. It's productive. I'm slowly working towards my goals. And that's all you sort of need, especially with, days that you have no motivation. You're still doing something, and something at the end of the day adds up. And a lot of people forget, you can go a very long way in, your sporting endeavors, personal development or career wise, just by putting in hard work. And the hard work on the days that you put in when you don't want to makes a very big difference. For athletes that are a little bit more disciplined, sometimes I'm not a great fan of pre-workouts, but sometimes for some people that is all they literally need. For me, I'll have like a double coffee. The caffeine hits quite well. For me, that'll give me that extra boost of energy. And then sometimes, changing it up. Like I love training at home in the garage gym. It's where I do the majority of stuff. But some days where I just feel really flat, I'll then train, at the gym that I coach at. And just change of atmosphere. There's other people there. a little bit more of a will to then train because, I've invested the time into the travel. And sometimes, sitting in the car for that, 30 minutes to get there, mentally you just prepare yourself further as well. And you just sort of accept, I'm going to gym, and it's just a different stimulus because it's, a different environment. For some people, if you always struggle training legs and you just don't enjoy it, if you have a training partner, most of the time you'll enjoy the social aspect, and you'll find once you get going, it really isn't bad at all. And same can be said on the days where you just lack motivation. Just, if you have the willpower, just do what you need to do and just take the approach, hey, I'm just going to take 10% off in terms of workload. And sometimes that might be all you need, just a bit of a deload week. But yeah, that's how I get through the phases of, not wanting to train or just losing the motivation. And for me, it's always a common theme towards the end of a comp prep. And I know mine's just based off, just sheer fatigue, and, just struggling to recover. That's why I lose motivation, and I don't particularly look forward to every single training session. Off-season training, different story. I'm always a lot more fresh. And again, I get to pick the movements that I enjoy. I enjoy bench press and I enjoy front squats. So they're the staple. Then I get to throw in like all the stone work, which I really enjoy. At the pointy end of this comp prep, I can't go outside. I can't play with the natural stones. Because heavy squats and heavy deadlifts equals, a taxed lower back. I can't then afford to go and tax it further by, playing around with the stones. And even front squats, which I enjoy, I've had to heavily cut the volume back on those as well to, once a fortnight if I'm lucky. So a comp prep for me, I'm doing movements that I typically wouldn't be doing a lot of. And then I get to, I just lose everything else that I really enjoy doing. So, if that's you regularly, then probably reevaluate the sport. For me, I try and do one serious comp once a year. The other comp that I'm thinking of doing, I got invited to do, is later on in August, and I'm just going to do bench press only. And I enjoy that style of training simply because it's one really heavy day a week of bench press, which I already enjoy, and then overhead press. But then it's a lighter bench day, and I have heaps of time to play around with stones and front squats, and I really enjoy my training. And if you enjoy your training, everything else is going to go really well. But for those 1 or 2 sessions where you just really can't be motivated, just pick something small that you enjoy, because at least, you're going to build a little bit of muscle tissue. Your metabolism's still going to stay elevated. You're doing something, you're keeping structure, and, the more you keep structure, the better off you're going to be. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my perspective of it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. Otherwise, hit like and subscribe. Have a great day wherever you are.